the end of the day, this whole battle between Iran and Israel is supposed to be about establishing deterrence, right? And to me, it's clear that Israel has not
Right.
established deterrence,
Right.
right?
They exactly. They
And
failed, and I mean, it's made clear the supreme leader Khamenei has already declared that Iran is going to strike again. Is going to retaliate.
okay, that was my next thing. I was wondering, like,
Yeah.
are they going to strike back? But it's just what it looks like. It seems now that Iran has proven in this tit for tat game that's been going between Iran and Israel that Israel started with the bombing of the consulate in Damascus, the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, the killing of
Yeah,
Nasrallah.
you can say
They
you can even
picked
go back farther. There have been provocations going back many, many years, but it's the provocations have intensified in the last several months. No question about it.
right. So Israel picked this fight, and they were talking such a big game for so long. Then you just like we said, all the way up, just how we started this off, and just saying, look, now the world will see Israel's might, and then we saw it, and really the only conclusion, if you look at it objectively, I believe, is that well, what I see is that Iran has the ability to strike Israel with impunity.
Hmm.
Israel doesn't have the ability to really strike Iran. Even if they did have some successful tactics, it's like, okay, well, you had to use aircraft, so you weren't able to launch this from your own territory. You had to fly planes over airspace, Jordanian airspace, Syrian airspace, Iraqi
Iraqi,
airspace,
right?
right? And you had to rely heavily on U.S. refueling capabilities to refuel your jets. This is something you mentioned. Right, the last episode I asked, did you think they're going to retaliate? I was thinking that maybe Israel's getting cold feet and they're not going to do it. And you said, well, the U.S. has actually just moved in a bunch of air refueling tankers, so it looks like it'll happen soon. And then it happened about 6 hours after that. So we saw this was a huge collaborative effort of what the West is, sort of the Western capability. It's not only a sign of Israel's might, by extension, it's the Western might. And it's just, I feel like the veil is off, at least for me.
Uh-huh. Right.
The veil's been
Yeah.
lifted. I can see that this is over, and surely people in the Pentagon, the Ministry of Defense in Israel, they got to be pooping themselves, right? They have to realize that this is
Yeah.
that we can do the PR game, have people spin on social media, say it's a success, but they know, like, dang, this didn't work. We really weren't able to do much, and it was a
Right.
big operation, a lot of planning. Basically, Iran, when it wants, it just has to push a button, and it launches missiles, and they're able to get through. I don't think there's really this whole, like, we have to develop a strategy. Basically, they just need to select the targets they want to hit. They push the button, and they hit them now, right?
Right.
Am I being,
No,
I
I
don't
think
know, a little.
no. No. I think you're really not exaggerating. I think that's true. I think this is actually a watershed moment. You can say analogous to the economic sanctions that were inflicted on Russia. Right after the start of the SMO. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. We now look, watch world. We're going to destroy the Russian economy. And the world watched, and they saw Russia standing taller than ever, and the rubble actually on the European side, and the world that really watched and saw what happened, I think, saw something similar. It was just like, again, Israel say, "Watch, world. We're going to teach them a lesson, and this is going to be devastating. This is going to, people were thinking, oh my God, are they going to kill the supreme leader, take out the entire leadership like they did in Hezbollah? Are they going to level half of Tehran? Are they going to, there's all kinds of
Walk out
and
their oil fields and their nuclear plants.
right,
Like even I was kind of surprised about how, I feel like we've been following it and we were aware of the capabilities to some extent of Iran, that Iran isn't this third world country, even though there's this image of it in the West, this hubris that all the Middle East and Persia, that's just, they're just old and they have ratty equipment from 60, 70 years ago. We knew that the Russians were helping them. We knew that they were developing these advanced missiles, and we've had plenty of demonstrations of their capabilities. October 1st being the most recent, where I think that really showed, I think, Iran's capabilities, that they can really do this. So what does this mean for Israel now? I mean, I think Israel.
Yeah, they're in a tight spot again. It's pretty much what we predicted. Again, we've been saying that clearly Iran holds the upper hand in an air war between Iran and Israel, and Netanyahu wants this war because he wants to draw on the U.S. But we were saying that, he probably miscalculated. I mean, he's just assuming that the U.S. can come in and save him. Just like, again, you could say Zelensky in Ukraine, just assuming the West is saying, hey, we have your back, don't you worry. And it's just like, okay, man, this is, how can I lose? I've got the U.S. in my back. Well, you can lose. That's what both of them are finding out. It's just the beginning here in the Middle East, but it's significant. This is quite a significant event. I think it's really the first time that you could say that in a conflict of the sort that Israel clearly failed, and a Muslim power. Of course, Iran is not Middle Eastern, but it's Middle Eastern, but it's not Arab. I'm sorry. A Muslim power, a Middle Eastern power, is clearly had the upper hand in a conflict. You can point to certain battles or whatever, but this was a major conflict between major powers in the region, and Iran won, and I'm sure everybody in the region saw that, and that just changes everything. Again, that aura of invincibility that Israel has had for all these years, these decades, ever since really the 6-Day War in 1967, that is gone. That is a major event that really changes everything. And Israel is probably feeling very naked right now, but they've picked this fight, and I would say that it looks like Iran has called their bluff, and they're going to go. They're going to continue with this fight. They know that they have the upper hand.